All right, let's do this. Hello, BookTube. It is April 2nd, which means I am 2 days late for my reading update, but you know, life is busy. So I read 10 books this month, so let's talk about them. Got Louie in the room, so if you hear any whining or sighing or barking or crying, it's because he's locked in the room and he hates that. So the first book I read this month was one that I was super excited about and kind of let down when I finished reading it, but whatever. That book is Finlay, Donovan Jumps the Gun. This is the third book in the Finlay Donovan series. I was expecting this to be as amazing as the first two, but it was kind of, I don't want to say it was lackluster, but it just wasn't the best in the series. I gave this 3 stars. I still liked the story. I still love the relationship between Vero and Finlay. There was a little more like love in this story. Action was just not there. I think that's what irked me, is that the other 2 books were so full with action and like stuff happening the entire time that this one was kind of just like meh. So this was a 3-star for me. I will continue in the series though, because I just love this. I love these characters so much. So I will continue with the series. Wow, I started off this month bad. This is another book that I was highly anticipating because I loved the first book. And I put off reading it because I heard not everybody loved it. So that book is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm sure you've heard this book and seen this book everywhere, but I also gave this 3 stars. I liked it. It just wasn't as good as the first one because it just wasn't. I liked seeing Atlas's side of things now and how he handles everything, and it's just, he's such a good guy. Like, he is such a good guy, and I love that Lily got her happy ever after. So that's the only reason this book got 3 stars. It was kind of just like, it wasn't really needed, but I get why Colleen Hoover did it, and I did really enjoy it. So, but if there's another book in the series, I don't think I'm going to continue with this. This next book is also very disappointing, and I love this author, so I think it was just because I read or I listened to the audiobook, and that's why I didn't like it as much. I think this is the type of author that you have to physically read, at least for me. And that book is The Last to Vanish by Miranda. I can't get the sticker off. I listened to the audiobook of this and just got bored like 50% of the way through, so I was like, I'm not wasting my time doing this anymore. Her books are usually like hits for me, so I don't know what happened with this one. I'm not gonna get rid of this book just yet, just because I think I wanna give it another chance and maybe read it physically. I don't know, I was just bored. So I think I'm gonna give this one another try, just not right now. I'm done with this book. I gave this 2 stars, but that may change. Okay, we have the first 5-star of the month. If you know anything about me, I love Sarah Penner and I love The Lost Apothecary. So when I saw that The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner was a choice for, I think it was February's book of the month, I instantly grabbed this and instantly read it. This was so amazing. It's always like historical fiction writing with Sarah Penner, and I love this. The main character, Vaudeline, I think is how you pronounce it, does seances for people who have lost somebody in their lives and they want to see how they left this world, I will say. So her specialty is kind of conducting investigations in form of a seance. And she has this apprentice under her who recently lost her sister, and they get called to go back to London, where they're originally from, and do the seance, and the apprentice is basically out for her own blood, or out for her own good, and trying to see if she can see what also happened to her sister in addition to the other person in this story. I don't want to give away spoilers. But this was amazing. The writing's amazing. It read so quick. Like, once this got started, it didn't stop. So I gave this 5 stars. So it's my first 5-star of the month. So if you've never read anything by Sarah Penner, please do. Do yourself a favor and get both of her books. Next, I also got, this is also a book by an author that I loved. That kind of was just like meh for me. This is also, oh, I gave this 4 stars. Oh, I gave this 4 stars. This is The Island by Adrian McKinty. If you read The Chain, you know how wild that book was. And this book was wild, but not as crazy as that one. That one was just fucking mind-blowing. The story follows a family that is on a trip in Australia, and they get a chance to go to this island that nobody ever goes to. And once they get on that island, shit is crazy. It pops off. It follows a very headstrong main character who's young, married a doctor, who's older, rich. I'll let you decide for yourself what you think about that. Essentially takes on his 2 kids once they get on this island, shit happens. She has to become the strong one for this family and figure out how they can get the fuck off this crazy island. I would never want to get stuck here. I gave this 4 stars. I thought it was good. I also listened to the audiobook of this. Wasn't the best book I've ever read. Definitely not as good as The Chain, but this was still amazing. Another 4 star. Oh, I think the month of March was reading authors that I've read before and loved and seeing if I still love them, because this next book is also from an author I've read 2 books from, which I absolutely loved. And this book is The Angel Maker by Alex North. If you follow me on TikTok, you know that I buddy read this with my friend Danny, and her and I were both just so confused throughout this entire thing. Like, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of characters, and each character has some sort of connection to the other. So this was a confusing one, but I ended up giving it, well, I gave it 3 stars, but I did enjoy this. I thought the ending was well written and kind of exactly what I wanted. It left me with no questions because I had questions the entire time I was reading this. So the fact that it answered all those questions, I was like, all right, I like this book because that's what I needed. But this is definitely not my favorite Alex North book. If you want an Alex North book that's gonna blow your mind, read The Whisper Man. I love The Whisper Man. So I thought I was really gonna like this, and I did like this, and I will continue to read from Alex North, but this was just a 3 star for me. This next book I have to show you on my iPad because I don't have a physical copy. Secluded Cabin, Sleep 6 by Lisa Unger. I listened to the audiobook of this, and what did I give this? I gave this 3 stars as well. The story was good, but it wasn't like spectacular and mind-blowing, which I was hoping it was, because it's basically about these 6 people that go to this secluded cabin in the woods, and you know, as shit goes wrong, it went wrong. So, but it wasn't like anything special. It was just like, meh, it was all right. So I gave that 3 stars. I probably would read more from Lisa Unger just to see if anything is better than this one, but 3 more books to talk about. Next book is another 5 star. This book was actually gifted to me kindly by the publisher on NetGalley. This book is Through Smoke and Sand by Corrie Hathaway. This book was so good. Whoa. I got so excited that I dropped my Kindle. This book was so amazing. This is like a cozy fantasy, low stakes, found family. The main character was neurodivergent, so she was just awkward and funny. I read fantasy, but sometimes I'm not always in the mood for like a high intense fantasy, and this was just amazing. It was cozy. I think they consider it like a contemporary fiction, or not fiction. They consider it a contemporary fantasy. But this follows our main character, Lexi, who has this special ability to help people. And she basically gets recruited to become a fairy godmother, which sounds like it's gonna be so stupid, but this was amazing. So she goes to the school, learns how to be a fairy godmother, but since she is neurodivergent, her brain and her mouth don't always work together, and once she thinks a thought, she says it, and it sometimes gets her in trouble. So it just follows that. But the thing I think I liked most about this book was that there was no fluff. Like, there wasn't unnecessary like writing in it. If you're on NetGalley and you are looking for some arcs to read, definitely request this one. This was amazing. I gave this 5 stars. And there's 2 more books in the series coming out. One is coming out, I think, in the fall of this year, and then the other one is coming out in spring of 2024. So but I can't wait to continue on in this series. I need more of this main character in my life. She was amazing. I think because this next book is like totally out of my realm and out of my comfort zone, but I actually ended up loving it. So I am doing the 2023 Barnes & Noble Reading Challenge, and one of the prompts was to read a graphic novel / manga, and I don't read that kind of stuff. That's just not me, like, whatever. So I was like, damn, what am I gonna read for this? And I actually follow Katie Coulson and Gabby Reeves, and they both were just recently talking about this, and I bought this book probably a couple months ago because of Katie Coulson, and then I just saw Gabby Reeves talking about it, so I was like, all right, March is going to be the month for this book. So the book that I'm talking about is Killing Stalking by, I honestly don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm just going to pronounce it how I think it sounds. I think it's Koogi? I don't know. But this follows our main character, who becomes obsessed with one of the other main characters. He breaks into his house and then goes into his basement and finds something he doesn't want to find. This book, definitely look up trigger warnings if you want to read it, but it was a wild ride. Like, this was literally so good. I read this in a day, instantly went out and bought the 2nd volume. And like I said, I'm not a manga girly, and I'm not going to become a manga girly, but this series is one that I really want to continue with because It's deep, it's dark, it's dramatic, and I love that kind of stuff. So, and I read this in a day. I mean, I don't think I can show pictures, but it's like pictures and quick words. So if you like manga and you're looking for something to mentally fuck with your head, get this. Oh, I gave this 5 stars, almost forgot. Okay, and then last, this book I'm not 100% done with. I think I have like 15% more of this to read, but that is Something Borrowed by Emily Giffin. This book is also messed up, but like in a funny way. Actually, it's really not funny, but this is about 2 friends, Rachel and Darcy. Darcy is getting married to this guy named Dex, and don't worry, this is not a spoiler. It literally says it on the blurb in the back. About to celebrate Rachel's birthday, and Rachel ends up in bed with her best friend Darcy's fiance, and although she wakes up determined to put the one-night fling behind her, Rachel is horrified to discover that she has genuine feelings for the one guy she should run from. So it basically is her realizing that she's in love with her best friend's fiance and figuring out what the hell she's going to do about it, because their wedding is in September, which is only a couple months. So I'm almost done with this. I hate to say I like it, but I do like it. I bought this and the second book at a used bookstore thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna read these right before my wedding. I hope this doesn't fucking happen to me. Like, I read this thinking it was gonna be a cute like read, but this is not cute, and I don't want this to happen to me. So, but I am liking it, and I will read the second book in the series. So these are the 10 books I read in the month of March. It was a pretty solid reading month, if you ask me. Lots of 3, 4s, and 5s. Only 1 2-star, and technically, oh god, 1 DNF was The Last of Vanish by Miranda. But yeah, that was a pretty solid reading month, and let's hope I have just as good of a reading month in the month of April. And that's a wrap. See you in the next video.